All right. I know I'm in between your lunch. Okay. So bear me for another 15 to 20 minutes. I won't take much. Okay. Are you with me? Yes? No? I know energy is down, right? But does this topic excite you? What is it about? Gen AI. Okay. And what? And what? Let's break it out. So it's about Gen AI and enterprise truth. We'll explore that, what it is about, and how that makes a impact on the real world scenarios like the manufacturing or other industries, how that is going to make a impact, right? Okay. I think I can skip this for now. You can read it. Right. So let's jump to the overview. So we are going to talk about the generative AI in enterprise. We'll define what is enterprise truth, the challenges around grounding the Gen AI, tools and frameworks of Google Cloud, which helps in grounding the enterprise truths, right? The strategies around it and the key takeaways will end with that. Okay, right. So let's begin with the generative AI paradigm shift. I know that like last 2 3 years we are continuously hearing about Gen AI, this that we are trying to make sense out of it, right? And kind of now we are getting bored out of it, right? Everywhere just Gen AI. Have a quick glimpse of how we progressed so far here. Okay, so it all started in 2027, 2017 actually, right? So that is when Google had come up with a research article where it talks about reinforcement learning and how that really helps in building the foundation for the generative AI, right? In early 2018 and 19, we saw that the chat GPT, the earlier version of chat GPT, where it was really not available to the public, but it was existing there, right? Like the earlier version of GPT 1, 2, like that. So they had the text generation capabilities, similar paths, right? Then comes the breakthrough of AI, which is around 2021. That's where we people started getting to know about generative AI, the keyword itself. Why it was so much in hype? Still, it's hype, right? But why it was a hype at that time? Anyone like yes? So it was able to generate the context for you if you without even giving the enough context around it, right? So though you are not providing the enough information to your AI, it was able to generate a new content, right? That was the all breakthrough for the Gen AI. The year comes for 2022 and 23. That's where we started seeing this hype was getting taking a shape, and we were seeing adoption of this Gen AI to the use cases, multiple use cases. Still, it was growing in very much growing stage, but we are seeing the use cases around creative fields or other industries like that. Last year we saw even more progress, and now by now we see that there are enterprise use cases that we are able to figure out. So we can see there are production level use cases that we are able to achieve with the help of generative AI, right? That's the gist of this talk actually. So what we are trying to explore in this session is that how Gen AI is now able to make a right impact, provided you are working in a certain industry, okay, and you want to get it working for your use case. Like we have already been investing so much of resources and also our time to understand it. Okay, so the very recent, if you see, last year Google has come up with Google Gemini advanced model, the multi-model, where you are able to use the same model for inputting the text, images, videos, everything, and you are able to get context out of it, right? So that was the advancement last year, but this year, if you see, by now 72% of enterprises are able to integrate at least one function of GenAI in their application, in the production applications. Yeah? Agree or I believe, so how many are professionals here? Like you are working somewhere? Great. So this is really a great audience here, I would say. You can relate it, like in your organization, at least you are working with at least one of the application where Gen AI is being pushed, right? Can you agree with that? Yes? Okay. So this is a report that I have got from McKinsey. So if you see, as per this chart, so since last year, we have seen a growth of around 20% approximate growth of generative AI adoption being achieved in the industries now. In this slide, if you see, we are trying to figure out, so there is a hype about the Gen AI, all those achievements, everything, but it's not all fancy, right? There are challenges around it. So whenever we are trying to integrate Gen AI with our applications, there are a lot of challenges around. So the challenges could be like, you see, risk of hallucinations, the data, right? So there are going to be challenges about the risk of hallucinations. Like let's say that you are using Gen AI for introducing or integrating with your application, but if it is not giving the right information to you, we know that it is based on certain parameters, a number of billions of records that we have trained, and based on that we are getting it. But certainly it's not based on my data, right? So this can give me a misleading information, and which can lead to brand reputation, or the decisions can be based on the false insights, right? Okay, right. So this is another report from the same McKinsey report that I had used. I have mentioned, yeah. So source I have already mentioned here, right? So if you see, these are the basic challenges that we see whenever we are trying to integrate Gen AI with our applications, right? And the major part of it, you can see, it's about the inaccuracy of the data that we are using, or the data that is being retrieved out of it, right? Also, there are other aspects like the cyber security. So we don't want to give all the information to Gen AI, or we just simply can't use anything from the public information, right? So there can be aspects of the responsibility of whether this data can be relied upon or not. And there are also the challenges of explainability. So how Gen AI is able to interpret certain information, who is going to explain that? How I can really just blindly take that, right? Okay. So far, we were trying to figure out what are the challenges about the generative AI, and how we are progressing so far with the enterprise acceptance of those generative AI models, right? Now let's see why grounding AI matters. Even before I go to why grounding AI, let's understand what is grounding itself. So what we understand about the grounding here? Like anyone wants to make a guess? Have you heard of foundation models? What are those? Any foundation model that you can name? Transformers. Okay. So let's say any LLMs, right? You might have heard of Chat GPT, Gemini, right? Gemini based model. We might have heard of Olama, right? So these are the foundational models. So they are trained based on certain a huge chunk of information from the publicly available information, right? And certain hyperparameters are being provided on the same. But it is not again based upon the information or the data that I have, right? So it is not going to make sense to me when I am going to give or gain some information out of a generative AI model, which is not relevant for me, and I can really not provide it to my customers. So the customer is going to certainly ask like how I can take this information unless you are providing me the source of it, right? So unless you give me the source, I cannot go ahead and then approve this information for my use cases or the processes that I have implemented, right? Okay. So, so grounding ensures output aligns with the accurate, up-to-date knowledge from enterprise systems, right? Very simplistic key. I mean, I'm just trying to give you a keywords that you can really try to relate it, the information that you are holding it at your organization, right? So here, the certain benefits of the grounding can be it aligns with your knowledge or the databases knowledge that you are maintaining at your organization, right? It provides a reliable decision making that trust and accountability can be achieved when you are grounding any of these Gen AI models with the knowledge base that you are holding at your organizations or the enterprises. Okay. Now comes the enterprise truth. So far we were trying to understand what is Gen AI, the grounding with the Gen AI. Now, what enterprise truth that we are talking about here? So, what information that we are keeping at our organization? Like, so what enterprise truth here we can relate to? So, another question like what it could be. There can be any information, right? So, let's say that anyone wants to attempt it. So, what information that we can be having at our enterprise? Can you be a little loud? Proprietary technologies, okay? HR management data, right? Some processes or applications that you are maintaining. Yes? So here is another statement that I tried to grab from another blog, okay? So in 2023, if you see Gen AI's breakthrough, it was a big breakthrough for the generative AI. But now this year, enterprises are asking how far we can use this to make a really a good impact on the organization, right? So earlier it was more of a hype. People were not able to get convinced that okay, how Gen AI is going to be utilized in a production grade applications. Now, at least now, like by 2024, we are able to make sense out of it, and there are advancement around the same. So we will look further on the same, like how this grounding is achieved, what kind of applications or the use cases that we can see on the same. Yes. Okay. So just to redefine the enterprise truth. So it is about delivering the personalized customer experience, okay? Offering the assistance to the employers or the employees, improving the process, and enterprises are augmenting these foundation models, right? So the foundation models are being augmented or integrated with your enterprise data to derive the right amount of information, okay? And that's where we are calling it as enterprise truth. So enterprise truth consists of the structured data or the unstructured data. We combine it together, okay, and try to derive the real-time analytics, the consistency across the systems, right? And that helps in getting the right decision on right time as well. So we want to not only just want to use the Gen AI for getting some information achieved, but also there should be performance aspect as well, and how quickly we are able to get this information delivered. So certainly, so far it was acting as an assistant for us, right? So if we discuss in journal, we see that Gen AI is nothing but an assistant tool, right? So far we were discussing that aspect. Now it is going beyond that. So with the grounding based on the information of your enterprise data, or let's say that some other based publicly available data, like we will see that for Google, using the Google search, we can see the same impact. So these all can be now verified. The sources can be provided for the information that you're fetching. So that is making the reliability. the timeliness with that you are getting the information, that all is achieved now. Okay. So let's look into the enterprise truth meeting the generative AI. So as you can see on the right hand side, this is how uh, Gen AI agent looks like, right? So if you see here, a request is made. So request could be anything, like you are going to a browser or an application, trying to retrieve some information, and then you get it. Now, how you get that information back? In between, you have a layer of the Gen AI agents, like LLMs could be there, and that is going to retrieve the information based on the data sources that you are providing. Now, those data sources can be Google search or your company-based documentations or data, the operational data, enterprise application data, or the system of analytics. All those, the enterprise truth can be integrated together, right? And now, when you are going to achieve such level of data retrievals, that is going to have larger benefits here, right? So the outcomes that you can see is reduced hallucination, um, up-to-date information, increased control over the responses, right? The trustworthiness can be increased, and also we are going to follow the regulatory compliances. It is majorly, we have seen that in financial sectors, the regulatory compliance is one of the major blocker due to which we cannot see many of the use cases being integrating the Gen AI applications, Gen AI tools, right? So that is now being achieved with the help of grounding. Okay, I think I have already mentioned this. So the complexities around grounding, if you see the fragmented data, right? So I am just skipping some slides because of the time constraint. The real-time requirement for is another challenge here. So earlier, whatever AI applications we have seen, that is based on the batch data, right? So you have to provide a lot of batch information. I mean, the data you have to provide in a batches, and that is how we were trying to infer the information, and then we were doing the predictions. We have moved further from there. So now we want to have all this done in real time. And that was a challenge even with the traditional AI models. Now that has been improved with the help of the grounding using on the Gen AI, the generative AI. Okay. Okay. So coming to the Google Cloud grounding toolkits. So there are basic some tools or the services that we can use to perform all those operations, the one that you have seen in the previous step, right? So let's explore that. So here, if you can see, the similar way, like it's a chatbot. Let's consider that this is a Gemini chatbot. Have you used Gemini chatbot, anyone? Yeah? So behind the scene, what happens here? You are asking a question that is going to the Vertex AI. The data is being sent over to the Vertex AI, a Google Cloud service. Okay. Google Cloud or the Vertex AI is going to now consult with the Google search. This is one of the use case. So in this scenario, Google search is being used to retrieve the right information and then respond it back with the grounded LLM response, right? So the information that you are going to receive back, that will be based on the right information. Yes? So the services being used here is like the previous one was for the Vertex AI. There is another service, BQML, BigQuery ML, that is used for majorly for the analytics. So any data where services that you might be aware of. So here BQML. So BigQuery is nothing but a data warehouse for, or yeah, so kind of a data warehouse for the Google Cloud, and that has the capability to integrate with the ML, or it is integrated with the Vertex AI itself. Okay. For the vectorization, LOIDB for PostgreSQL is implemented here. So all the information that we are talking about, the enterprise data, that can be saved in a vector form on this LOIDB for Postgres. Okay, right. So this is again another important slide here. So what are the Vertex AI grounding capabilities? As I said, Vertex AI is a Google Cloud service that is like one product all for AI. AI related, all the AI related stuff on GCP is handled through the Vertex AI, right? Now, there are many methods based using which you can achieve this grounding for your applications, right? One of it is leveraging the Vertex AI for enterprise data grounding. What it does, you can use the Vertex AI using the search for RAG. So with the RAG method, you can integrate with your Vertex AI and you can achieve that. Similarly, grounding with the analytic data and the time series data. And another one would be grounding across your operational data. All this data that we are talking about, this is stored in the PG vector or the LOIDB vector, and then those are actually accessed through the Vertex AI. So previous diagram we have seen that the data is being, I mean, whenever you are requesting some information, that is passed to the Vertex AI, and Vertex AI is going to now consult all these data, right? So earlier we had the Google search. You can also integrate with these information. Okay. There is one more method which is called grounding with high fidelity mode. I will explain that in the later slide. Okay. Right. So I was talking about this grounding with high fidelity. So as if you can try to look into this slide, here we have on this very left hand, we can see that this is a information that we have fed into the database. Okay. Now this is the source of your information. When you write a prompt for getting some information extracted out of this information only, we are not going anything out of the context of this information, right? So we are not taking anything out of the context, just only it should be relying on this information, right? So now, when the first prompt was given, what was Google's Q1 2024 revenue? What was its year-on-year growth? Now, first of all, it will provide you all those accurate information, and also it will give a scoring for this grounding. So how confident this data is based on this information, right? So there is a 99.2% of accuracy of this information being fetched from the source given, and the source is also provided. Now next, you write another prompt where you are looking for the revenue for the Q3 of 2024, which is still not arrived, right? So that information is not available with this source, correct? So that's as it is not available with the high fidelity mode on, it is going to provide you the feedback saying that there is a limitation with the source you are providing, and the score I am going to give only 3% or the certain percentage it is going to meet based on its algorithms, right? So here we are able to see that there is a like the limitations that we were seeing with the Gen AI is now gone, right? So now with these approaches, you can actually use Gen AI with grounding your own enterprise informations and achieve the results in a timely manner. Okay. So going with all this information, let's go with the takeaways. So we talked about the various aspects like how we started with the Gen AI, the foundation of it, right? Where we moved so far, the enterprise adoption of the Gen AI so far, and now how that information or the data can be used for your enterprise applications, how we can rely on these Gen AI tools. Okay, all that aspect is covered so far, and the key takeaways can be like now you can align AI with the accurate data, right? Which is going to lead to the better business decisions, right? We are also able to perform the real-time analytics on our information, like the existing information. And there is a huge amount of information that is available with our organization, right? Which we are not able to get the right insights in timely manner. Like if you do it manually, it is going to take ages, right? That is now reduced with the help of these such models. Yeah. Integration helps in maintaining the regulatory compliance, as it is not exiting your organization. The models that you are going to use, they are not going to exit your organization. You are maintaining those regulatory compliances. Okay. And the grounded AI streamlines operations and reduces the error because it is based on the real facts. Yes. Okay. And comprehensive data access foster the organization innovation. Yeah. So that would be all. I have just tried to list down some of the references. If you want to look further on the same, okay, you can take a click on the same. Yeah. Right. That would be all. You can reach out me here. Yeah. Thank you. Any questions? Can we take a few questions if there are? Okay.
Does anybody have any questions? You can reach out to Sir through the links.
Okay. That's all.
Thank you so much. Please give Sir a big round of applause. So I request you to remain on the stage. Thank you so much, guys. We'll be having our lunch break right now. And after the lunch break, we'll be resuming